In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a young woman named Kaylee. She was in her early 20s, with long black hair that shimmered under the sun and warm brown eyes that seemed to carry a depth of emotion beyond her years. Kaylee was known for her kindness, always willing to lend a hand to anyone in need. Though her family was modest, they were rich in love and shared a deep bond. She spent most of her days helping her family with household chores and dreaming of a future beyond the small confines of her village. The village, with its streets and vibrant green fields, was peaceful. Life moved slowly here, and many of the people had grown used to the quiet rhythm of rural life. She dreamed of exploring the world, experiencing new things, and maybe even finding a love that would sweep her off her feet. One day, while walking to the market, Kaylee crossed paths with a man named Andrew. He was tall and handsome, with dark hair and an easy smile that seemed to light up the whole square. Andrew came from a wealthy family who owned a large estate on the outskirts of the village. His family's wealth and status were well known, and yet there was something different about Andrew. Despite his privileged background, he was humble and down-to-earth, often seen helping the villagers with their daily tasks. It didn't take long for Kaylee and Andrew to strike up a conversation. They found themselves talking for hours, sharing stories of their lives, their hopes, and their dreams. As the days went by, their connection grew stronger. Andrew admired Kaylee's inner strength and her ability to see the good in people, while Kaylee found herself drawn to Andrew's warmth and the way he made her feel understood, as if he truly saw her for who she was. But as their bond deepened, a difficult truth loomed over them. Andrew's family, particularly his mother, disapproved of Kaylee. They believed that someone from a humble background like hers could never be a suitable match for their son. They were adamant that he should marry someone from a wealthy family who could offer him the status and connections they deemed important. Andrew, torn between his love for Kaylee and his loyalty to his family, found himself at a crossroads. He didn't want to disappoint them, but at the same time, he couldn't deny the deep affection he had for Kaylee. His desire to be with her, despite the barriers, became the driving force in his life, pushing him to make decisions that would change everything for both of them. As the story unfolds, Kaylee and Andrew will be forced to make choices that challenge their dreams and beliefs, testing the limits of love and sacrifice. As the days passed, Kaylee and Andrew's relationship blossomed. What began as casual conversations in the village market quickly turned into something deeper. They spent long afternoons walking by the river, sharing their dreams and fears. Andrew loved listening to Kaylee's aspirations of a life beyond the village, while she found comfort in his stories about the world outside their small town. But despite the deep connection between them, external forces threatened their happiness. Andrew's family, especially his mother, did not approve of Kaylee. She often remarked that Andrew deserved someone from a wealthier background, someone who could elevate his status. This put Andrew in an impossible position, torn between the woman he loved and the expectations of his family. Kaylee, too, began to feel the strain. The constant reminder of her family's poverty made her question if she could truly offer Andrew a future he deserved. She knew that love was not about wealth, but in a world so focused on status, she began to feel inadequate. The pressure mounted, and she couldn't help but wonder if Andrew would choose his family over her. One evening, after a particularly tense conversation with his mother, Andrew sat by the river with Kaylee, his face clouded with worry. "I don't know what to do, Kaylee," Andrew admitted, his voice heavy with guilt. "My family doesn't understand. They think I'm throwing my future away by being with you." Kaylee's heart broke seeing him so torn. She took his hand gently, her voice soft. "You don't have to choose between us. But if being with me means losing your family, Maybe it's better if we let go." The words stung, but they were the truth. Kaylee loved him too much to be the reason for his pain. Andrew squeezed her hand, struggling with the impossible choice before him. "I don't want to lose you, but I don't know how to fix this." Kaylee wiped a tear from her cheek. "Maybe love isn't enough, Andrew. Maybe we have to face the reality that we can't be together." The tension between them was unbearable. They both knew the external pressures were too strong, and their dreams of a future together seemed impossible. But despite the uncertainty, they understood that their love would always be real, even if it couldn't overcome the obstacles in their way. The tension between Kaylee and Andrew reached its breaking point one stormy evening. The air felt heavy with unspoken words as they sat in the small cottage that had once been a place of joy. Andrew's mother had made her feelings clear once again, demanding that Andrew end his relationship with Kaylee or risk losing his family's support. Kaylee, heartbroken, watched Andrew's internal struggle. She knew how much his family meant to him, but she also knew how deeply he loved her. This was the moment where they had to choose between love and duty. "I can't keep living like this, Andrew," Kaylee whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of the rain against the windows. "I won't ask you to choose me over your family. You deserve more than what I can offer." Andrew's eyes filled with tears. "I don't want to lose you, Kaylee. I love you," he said, his voice shaking. Kaylee reached out, her hand trembling as she cupped his cheek. "But you can't have both, can you? Your family will never accept me." The silence that followed was deafening. Andrew's heart was torn in two. The weight of his family's expectations crushed him, but so did the thought of losing Kaylee. "I have to choose," Andrew said, his voice breaking. He stood up, pacing the room, unable to make sense of the emotions swirling inside him. "But I can't choose, Kaylee. I love you both too much." Kaylee's heart sank. "Then maybe we need to let go." In that moment, they both realized that love wasn't always enough to overcome the barriers life set in front of them. It was a painful decision, but it was the only one left to make. As time passed, both Kaylee and Andrew found peace with their decisions. Though the pain of separation lingered, they began to realize the depth of their personal growth. Kaylee, once hesitant to pursue her own dreams, now embraced her passion for art. She traveled to a nearby city where her work was finally recognized, gaining the success and independence she had longed for. Andrew, too, found fulfillment in his career, working hard to build his future, always carrying Kaylee in his heart. Months later, when their paths crossed again, neither of them expected to pick up where they had left off. But they were different people now, stronger, more confident, and wiser. Their love had not faded, but it had evolved. They saw each other not as a source of longing, but as a reminder of how far they had come. They shared stories of their journeys, realizing that their sacrifices had shaped their paths in ways they never could have imagined. Kaylee smiled at Andrew, her heart full, knowing that their love had led them to grow into the best versions of themselves. "Sometimes," Kaylee said softly, "love isn't just about being together, it's about supporting each other, no matter where life takes us." Andrew nodded, a quiet understanding passing between them. "And sometimes, love means letting go so we can both become who we're meant to be." They parted that day with no regrets, knowing that their love would always be a part of them, guiding them through the rest of their lives. In the end, their story was a testament to the power of sacrifice and the strength of personal growth. True love is not always about staying together. Sometimes it's about letting go, growing individually, and allowing each other the space to become who you are meant to be. the strength of love lies not just in closeness, but in the sacrifices we make for each other's happiness and growth. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share for more inspiring tales.